Vicious, what's up? It didn't change my titles. Why did it not change any of my titles? This application sucks. Piece of shit. Alright. There's that one. Now I gotta go check the YouTube one because I'm sure that's probably also not set up correctly because it doesn't. Cam, what's up? Dragons, how you doing? Burbles. Hemingway, how are you? Fuck it. Because I'm sure that. Stop that. Edit. Copy that over. Oh. And let's see. Can I not change, like, where? Alright. See if that... Go here. Alright, I think it's working. Good enough. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. We've got a lot of terribly annoying shit to watch tonight. Gonna smoke. I have to take Arden over here. And I got some edibles. How many? How many do I do? I have a lot. Let's see. They're only 10 milligrams a piece, but they taste terrible. Let's see, 2 and 3. Sure, 3. 5. I should probably do 5, but they taste terrible. I should probably do 5, but they taste so bad. 20. All right, let's see. 3. Let's start with 3. Oh, yummy. God. We're in the year 2025. Can they not make weed edibles taste not like shit? Can they just not make them taste good? Fuck's sake. Do you ever cook with resin? I have not ever cooked with resin. I'm honestly kind of worried about, like doing any edible cooking because I haven't done it before, and because my weed is so expensive. To, like, say I wanted to clarify some weed down into butter or something to cook with, it would end up like using over $100 and something worth of things there, and if I fucked it up, I'd be like very, very upset. So I haven't gone about trying that yet. Jimothy is not focused on anything right now. Jimothy. Hey. There we go. There we go. Cheers. But I do enjoy cooking in general. I'm not a big fan of baking myself. Well, I'm getting baked, I guess. But I'm not a fan of baking because I have to be too exact with the steps. when I cook, I can kind of like do like just abouts. I can do like just abouts with my cooking. So when I'm adding things, I don't like have to measure in things. But when I'm baking, it's super specific. So. Laney, what's up? How are you? All right. So, do we want to start with the talk about Tylenol and autism? Or do we want to start with Pam Bondi? Not Pam Bondi. Caroline Levitt. Let's see. Make my little thing tiny here. Hello. Damn. Deactivate. Activate. There we go. There I am. On the tiny little camera. Both pretty bad. Yeah, they're both fucking terrible, but... autism thing. All right, we'll start with it. We'll try and get over that one. We'll try and get through the. Granted, that means that my edible's not gonna kick in probably during this. I haven't eaten though, so it'll kick in quicker, but so it might kick in like in the middle of this, maybe. Wait, we're not ready for you to come in yet. Hold on. Your walkout music isn't ready.
I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually. And it's not that
Good
everything's...
God. Why is it again that RFK Jr. is just standing? Like, he's like... Why can't he just stand normal? What is with this guy and not being able to just, like, stand? Not like he's about to attack somebody.
Understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. I wish it was done a long time ago.
RFK looks like he's been taking all the
Today
Tylenol.
we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals.
Can you believe fucking flanking this man? We have RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz. RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz. For them to talk about, like, science and medical stuff. Why?
We announced historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from.
I wonder if RFK Jr. was disposing of the carcass of a bear in Central Park, and Donald was like, "Who is this fellow? Seems like a smart individual. He seems smart. I should listen to his opinion."
And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary. These are great people. Administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Fink. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very much. The meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything
60%
like
clean
this.
these things. Fuck.
Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it. 1 in 31.
What?
And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12.
Also, in the
California
time
where
frame
they
that
have
they were talking about, it was not 1 in 10,000 or whatever. That number isn't even correct.
for some reason, a more severe problem. But
Hey,
whether
Cycling,
it's
what's
1
up?
in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000 and 1 in 10,000.
We're at
And now we're
20,000.
at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys.
Now we're down. Holy dude, what in the fuck are these? He just made up every different number, like in the book there. He just keeps changing the numbers. What is going on?
And 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12,
What?
there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism.
No, you can't say, Donald. You can't. You can't just make that the fuck up right now. You can't just do it.
Does that tell you
Off
something?
to a
That's
wonderful
current,
start
right?
on this one,
Is
huh?
that a correct statement, by the way?
Gee, hot sauce, thanks.
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish.
There
for
are some
example.
studies on the Amish.
Yeah, virtually.
The Amish.
I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful.
You tell
with
me
what he
none
says,
of the
and he
Amish
should,
are
but I'm
autistic?
not so careful with what I say.
That's fucking
You have certain
crazy.
Groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of
Thank you for the bits. Thank you.
well, let's see how we say that.
Is Suda. Well. Well.
Let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay?
Dr. Oz just, yes, that
Which
is how
is
you say that.
basically commonly known as Tylenol. During pregnancy can be
He
associated
didn't even say pregnancy right.
Tylenol. During pregnancy can be
Pregnancy.
associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever.
Fishes with the 17 horse.
That you feel you
horses,
can't tough it out.
I
You can't
guess.
do it.
And
I
Burbles
guess
with
there's
the
that. It's a
10.
small
Thank you.
number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, the damages in this case would be like irreparable. I can't even imagine like the monetary itself fallout, but not just that, but like the lives that could be lost because of this specifically.
A Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the
What is
child
this
a
guy
Tylenol every
talking
time he
about?
goes. He's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give
Every
a Tylenol
time he
to
what?
that. So you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child a Tylenol every time he goes. He's born and he goes and has a shot.
Every time he's born, every time he has a shot. What the hell is he talking about?
You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you have to, if you can't tough.
Who wrote this? I assume Dr. Oz. Probably not RFK Jr. I don't think RFK Jr. can write.
It out if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but
What?
you take it in smaller doses.
Why is he giving medical advice on this? Why is Donald Trump up here giving medical advice?
And you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it's.
We're bringing back smallpox. We're seeing if we can make a medium pox. We had smallpox before, but we want a medium. We want a large pox. We want the biggest pox.
It's very bad. They're pumping. It looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they
80
pump it
different blends.
So
Huge box.
Ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol, and on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible.
What?
I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel.
This is based on what I feel. Hey, this isn't, this is just based on what I feel, everybody. Hey, we're going to do a presidential announcement. I want to tell you how I feel about things. I want to tell you how I feel about stuff.
Mumps, measles, and the 3 should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem.
He just thinks he's on a TV fucking show at this point, right? This guy just thinks he's like in The Apprentice, the President or something. And he just goes up here and he's like, I'm going to go off script. I'm going to make it up today. Like, what the fuck is happening? These aren't even like, he's not even finishing his sentences that he's starting about these things. And then he's randomly just being like, I don't know, these vaccines, these ones are cool. But these ones, if you do it on a Tuesday,
So there's no downside
what the
in
fuck?
taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate.
Who is they?
Chickenpox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while. It really was bad. So they make chickenpox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens.
When you mix them, something maybe happens. Like a spell. It casts a spell.
So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact.
Let me hear that sentence again. Hold on.
Okay, when you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So
There's no reason to give a baby hepatitis B. I'm gonna like just pass out from the sheer stupid radiating from my computer monitor right now. What the?
I would say
What?
wait till the baby is 12 years old and formed and take hepatitis B.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. But now, why is it that 12 is okay for him? Why is it that 12 years old is the age that he assumes that these children will be, quote, fully formed and apparently sexually active? Because he's implying that... What the fuck?
And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different... It's going to be
He's like, I draw the line at babies. 12 years old.
revolution in
12 years
a
old.
sense in the country. The FDA will be updating the label of an existing drug to reflect potential benefits in reducing some autism.
That's what they're going to call it, the Epstein Doctrine on vaccines.
This gives hope to the many parents with autistic children that it may be possible to improve their lives. That's one of the things that I'm very, very happy about. I mean, this was mostly going to be on how not to have the child affected, but we've learned some pretty good things about certain elements of genius that can be given to a baby, and the baby can get better.
What? The hell did... What?
Some pretty good things about certain elements of genius that can be given to a baby, and the baby affected. But we've learned some pretty good things about certain elements of genius that can be given to a baby, and the baby can get better, and in some cases maybe substantially better.
What the fuck does that mean? Certain elements of genius that you can give to a baby. Huh?
Not going to be easy, but
It's not going to be easy to give all these babies genius, is it? We're going to have to go around and give every baby genius. We're going to have to give every baby genius.
Be a lot easier.
But we're willing to do it for America.
Great
for America.
Understand, right? They fully understand. I feel so terribly for. I have so many friends with autistic children. It's a tough situation. Finally, to help reach the ultimate goal of ending the autism fever, the NIH.
Did he just say the autism fever? The autism fever.
Will be announcing 13 major grant awards from the Autism Data Science Initiatives. And to be honest with you, to me, that's the least important. It's not even a money thing at this point. There's so much money, but they have to.
Always there.
And they have to move quickly. When the
so much money
is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Dude, what is going on? This is not real. You can't. What did he just fucking have come out of his little orange dookie lips? What did his little butthole mouth just say to me? Say that again.
That nothing bad can happen. Let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
I want that on a fucking t-shirt. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. What the fuck are you talking about? What does that even mean?
But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead?
He's like, and then your kid has autism. If you decide to take it, they get the autism, but your fever goes away. What the fuck
Actually,
are you
there's
talking
not
about,
an
dude?
Alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirin.
So you're implying that this hasn't been proven anything. It's right here is you saying you...
And the Advils.
You know, those ones, they actually, like, prove stuff. Those ones, they actually proved things. Oh, fuck. Yo, we are toast. We're toast. You know, those ones they actually proved it, right?
That's right. And they've been proven bad. So I'd like to ask Bobby to get up to the podium and say a few words, and then Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. McCary, Dr. Oz, Dr. Fink, followed by two incredible mothers that have experienced firsthand what this country
He's going to bring up two random
is going
mothers
what,
to speak?
Parts of the world are going through. And I will say there are parts of the world that don't take Tylenol. I mean, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism, okay? Tell me about that one.
Do you know why they wouldn't be able to get Tylenol, you stupid fuck? Does this guy not even know what we did to Cuba? Does he have no idea, like, anything we did to Cuba?
And there are other parts of the world where they don't have Tylenol, where they don't have...
If they don't have Tylenol, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if any of these places had something as, like, a different name brand something. It's not called Tylenol. Because you can't say acetaminophen, remember?
Autism. That tells you a lot. And I want to say it right now. And, you know, the way I look at it, don't take it. Don't take it. There's no downside in not taking it. So I'd like to ask Bobby to come up and say a few words. I hope I didn't ruin his day, but that's the way I feel.
I hope I didn't ruin his day.
You know, life is common sense, too. And there's a lot of commman sense in this. And I
life
wish things
is
like
common
this were brought
sense.
up, and this group has worked so hard on it. But I'd like to be a little bit more, a little speedier in the process of a recommendation, because there's no harm in going quicker. There's absolutely no harm. At worst, there's no harm. Thank you very much. Bobby, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To meet the President's challenge, I ordered HHS to launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism, including toxic and pharmaceutical exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic.
The ideology of the autism epidemic? Huh?
And how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically safe and entirely fruitless research about the genetic drivers of autism. And that would be like studying the genetic drivers of lung cancer without looking at cigarettes. And that's what NIH has been doing for 20 years. As a result, we don't have an answer to this critical question.
What?
Despite the cataclysmic impact of the epidemic on our nation's children, we are now
There are genetic markers that they can look at that could lead to increased risk of. How this guy doesn't even know like any.
we are now replacing the institutional culture of politicized science and corruption with evidence-based medicine. NIH research teams are currently testing multiple hypotheses with no area off limits.
No area off limits. Oh boy.
Promise transparency as we uncover the potential causes and treatments, and we will notify the public.
I was talking about genetic markers for getting heart cancer specifically, not even about autism. But there are genetic markers.
Today, we are announcing two important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents
keeps my bold
to
mega
know
cheers.
as they make these decisions.
Cheers.
First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change. HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA also recognized that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment.
I'm Brett Burchard. Thank you for the subscription.
Use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy. By prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has never been validated. Prudent medicine, therefore, suggests
throat chakra is
caution
broken.
Acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen
Some studies have said that acetaminophen affects your liver because that is where it fucking goes for your body to process it. That would be what your liver does, RFK Jr. That would be the point of your liver. Glad you're finding this out now.
and children can
I'm glad he's figuring out what the liver does.
FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism.
Says we have a hype train. Don't know why it's a hype train, but thank you, someone. Doesn't say anything on my screen.
Revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism.
Okay.
We have also identified an exciting therapy that may benefit large numbers of children who suffer from autism. Peer-reviewed literature has documented that up to 60% of folate-deficient children with ASD can have improved verbal communications if given leucovorin. I have instructed NIH, FDA, and CMS to help doctors treat children appropriately. Jay will help tell that story, which started with sound science, the kind that restores faith in government. The announcement of this announcement also represents a historic collaboration between NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS. We expect this to be the first of many announcements over the coming years that deliver actionable information to parents on underlying cause of autism and the potential paths for prevention and reversal. Finally, autism is a complex disorder with multifactorial etiology. We are continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas of taboo. One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism
Danny and Vicious, thank you,
believe
both
that
of you.
their child was injured by a vaccine. President Trump believes that we should be
That what they believe doesn't fucking matter. I don't care if they all believe that Bobo the Clown comes in at night and gives them some sort of magical ice cream cone that they wake up to every morning. It doesn't fucking matter. What are you talking about? Who cares what they think? Why are we saying that we're going to bring back science and then going, well, the opinion of the mothers is that
listening
their
to these
children got
mothers
autism
instead
from
of
vaccines?
gaslighting and marginalizing them like prior administrations. Some of our friends like to say that we should believe all women. Some of these same people have been silencing and demonizing these mothers for 3 decades.
Holy shit.
What the fuck? This is insane. Why the fuck is he bringing that out? I mean, we know why. He is an offender. This man is an offender on every level.
Because research on the potential link between autism and vaccines has been actively suppressed in the past.
It gets worse than this? How does it get worse than this?
A time for an honest look at this topic by scientists. And I want to reassure the people in the autism community that we will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers.
Community.
We will perform the studies that should have been performed 25 years ago. Whatever the answer is, we will tell you what we find. We are researching this issue to all 3 agencies. Jay will discuss one of our research initiatives at NIH. This model of unleashing unbiased, depoliticized, gold standard scientific research and academic freedom.
Gold, why are you just throwing around words? Because what? They just don't have meaning anymore?
Will be a model for the framework.
Gold standard research.
Similar results.
Award-winning.
Any other chronic conditions.
Nobel Prize receiving.
Jay.
You know, Jesus Christ actually told us.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud to announce today that the NIH has launched the Autism Data Science Initiative
The what?
to turbocharge autism research, devoting an additional $50 million to the cause of studying autism. Nearly 250 research teams from across the country applied, sent in their applications, and were peer-reviewed by the NIH review panels. The NIH peer reviewers chose the 13 best projects focused on root causes.
Instead of doing this, they
with
should just
replication
pay
and
for my
validation
weed.
studies
How
to
about that?
guarantee gold standard science. The studies feature a new kind of science called exposomics, where scientists consider environmental and medical
Cheers,
factors,
Delta.
nutrition, events during pregnancy, in combination with biology and genetics to answer vital questions about autism.
God, I hope the
Science
rapture
like
does
this,
happen.
conducted in
Fuck me
partnership with
too,
families
so
and
badly.
physicians, is the best way to arrest and reverse the autism epidemic. Autism spectrum disorder encompasses a very wide range of symptoms, ranging
I guess
from
they just
mild
expect to
difficulties
never
with
get
social
cancer,
interactions to profoundly
or to be able to
autistic
go
children
somewhere
who
else and,
experience severe disabilities in
treated
speech
there.
and behavior. Given this wide range of symptoms across the spectrum, it seems certain that there will be a wide range of biological contributors.
Also, I'd like to say by the fact that that RFK Jr. keeps saying that there is nothing too taboo for them, that there's nothing too taboo, but then specifically not mentioning the exact taboo eugenics thing that you would expect him to mention after that. You know that they're thinking about it.
Explaining the cause. The great thing about the new NIH initiative on autism is that scientists will use rigorous advanced methods in causal inference, machine learning, organoids, and other fresh approaches to the problem. The sharp rise in the prevalence of autism deserves an urgent response by the scientific community. As Bobby said, the NIH has invested a lot of money to study autism over the years. but the research has not produced the answers that families and parents of autistic children deserve, and autistic children themselves deserve. For too long, it's been
So now we're
taboo
gonna blame
ask some
Tylenol.
questions for fear that scientific work might reveal a politically incorrect answer. Because of this restricted focus in scientific investigations, the answers for families have been similarly restricted, often pointing families to behavioral therapies that don't work for every kid or suggest non-modifiable genetic factors as the cause. But genetics alone can't explain such a sharp rise in autism prevalence over just a few decades, as the president said.
So they know it has to do with genetics, but instead of assuming that they potentially were not diagnosing people properly years ago, they go, let's look for something like Tylenol. Let's blame it on Tylenol.
In coming months and years, as NIH scientists learn more that can help autistic children and their families, we won't delay. Like scientists often like to do, I can say as a scientist myself, it's really tempting to delay, but you have to, but in
It's,
face of a
yeah,
problem
it
like
really
this,
is
you have to
giving
move
let's
fast.
inject
But
bleach.
we will not delay before telling American people about what we find, and we will win the public trust with transparency and rigor. Already, our broadened focus
God, the
on
moms are gonna be
autism
bad.
research has
It's gonna
pointed
be
to two
cringe,
items,
really
that will
badly.
help families prevent and treat some cases of autism. I'll leave the good
And
news
they
on these
probably
two
have a
items to my
script.
close friends and colleagues, Dr. McCary and Dr. Oz. We've been working together closely on this
God, look at Donald's hands. Oh, right. Hey, buddy, want a treat? Look at Donald's hands right now. Tell me he doesn't look like he is going through rigor mortis. This man looks like he's dead. His arms look like there is no blood in them anymore. What is going on? Is there that much makeup on, like, his fingers, too?
problem for the past 6 months. And our
Holy
cooperation
shit.
represents an unprecedented collaboration with Secretary Kennedy's Department of Health and Human Services and with President Trump. I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Marty McCary, Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, who will tell you about these announcements of practical help for families with autism.
that.
Great, thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Mr. President, this is the start of a historic shift in medical culture.
Who the fuck is this guy?
administration is working together to ask big questions about why our nation's children are getting sick so fast. Too often, medicine is doing small little studies, giving us answers we already knew. But we've got to make a difference. You've given us a charge to identify root causes, and we're not going to stop.
He doesn't like the traits he
so
has
that
right
we
now.
can end the suffering we are
doesn't
watching.
care about these
And
ones.
if you've seen a kid with autism, with severe autism, it's hard to watch.
Oh my
Kids get
God.
frustrated, they get angry, they can be crying because they want to speak and they can't speak. It's hard to watch, and it may be entirely preventable. For an epidemiologist,
Glad to know
that
you
child
have
is
a
an
hard
expanding
time
statistic. But for
seeing
a
other
child,
people with autism.
it can be brutal to have autism. Today, the FDA is taking action to update the label on acetaminophen and sending a letter to all U.S.
They're
doctors letting
updating
them
the
know
label.
about the risks
Is it
in
gonna
pregnancy.
say?
We
Is
now
it gonna
have
say, like, on the bottle now, like, careful, autism, exclamation points, autism, watch out, breaking news. Fucking.
No, we cannot ignore. There's a very large study,
Jimmy
the
Lee,
Boston
focus.
Birth Cohort, with researchers that have from Johns Hopkins, my former institution, and Boston University, found quote-unquote consistent associations between acetaminophen in pregnancy and autism. And the Nurses' Health Study, with researchers from Yale, Columbia, and Harvard looking at 9,000 kids, found that acetaminophen use in pregnancy was associated with neurodevelopmental disorders. And 4 weeks ago, a Mount
At this
Sinai
point,
Harvard
I
study
think
reviewed
Elon could
all
take
the
like any
existing
drug and be
literature
like
and
resistant.
found
He
the
probably has some
overwhelming
resistance to
body of
all
evidence points to
substances
an
that go into his
association.
body.
Sure, you'll be able to find a study to the contrary. That's how science works. But to quote the dean of the Harvard School of Public Health,
That's not how science works, though. How would what?
literature, and found the overwhelming body of evidence points to an association. Sure, you'll be able to find a study to the contrary. That's how science works.
Sure, you're gonna be able to find studies with backed up evidence showing that we're wrong, but you know that's just science, right? We give you no data at all, and they have backed up studies that show that we're wrong. But who gives a shit? Who cares? We
To
breeze
quote
right
the
past
dean of the
those.
Harvard School of Public Health, There is a causal relationship between prenatal acetaminophen use and neurodevelopmental disorders of ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. We cannot wait any longer. And honestly, there's been this perfunctory,
That's not even what it
reactionary,
says. I read it, what it said earlier. Remember when I read the review's results were so inconsistent that a meta-analysis was unable to be performed. Some association was noted in 27 studies. The rest found nothing. The lead author explicitly states they cannot answer the question about causation and compared it to ice cream sales and crime, which both rise in the summer.
mindless practice in medicine. I learned it in medical school and residency. Just treat all fevers, low-grade fevers, treat them with acetaminophen. Why? What are we doing? A study out of Hopkins
What do
actually...
you mean, why? What? Ice cream sales cause crime. Understood. Got it. Average Republican reaction to the things I say.
show that treating a fever can prolong the duration of illness in a young kid.
Yeah, you know that this dipshit, when he gets a person that comes in and he's like, "Ooh, are you sure? Are you on your period? Are you on your? Could you be pregnant? We're just gonna chalk it up to that. We're gonna, you know what? Just get out of here. We're gonna chalk it up to that."
Maybe that's because a fever is a body's natural way of ridding an infection. When my wife was pregnant and delivered our son a few months ago, they pushed her to take acetaminophen for a low-grade fever. She said no,
Oh my
and then
God.
they looked at me and I said, absolutely no. I'm also here to announce good news. Today, the FDA is filing a Federal Register notice to change the label on an exciting treatment called prescription leucovorin so that it can be available to children with autism. You know, autism...
Why would it? But what the fuck? If I can't even imagine, like, there's gonna be so many states, I feel, that just do not do this shit. There's gonna be a lot of states that go, that's so fucking stupid. Why would we do that? And then there's going to be Florida, and then there's going to be Texas, and then there's going to be, like,
may also be due to a autoimmune reaction to a folate receptor on the brain, not allowing that important vitamin to get into the brain cells. It's a fairly established, mature pathway. Again, we have a duty to let doctors and the public know. We are going to change the label to make it available. Hundreds of thousands of kids, in my opinion, will benefit. One study found that with kids with autism and chronic folate deficiency, two-thirds of kids with autism symptoms had improvement, and some marked improvement. Mr. President, you told us to do what's medically right, to go bold, and not worry about the corporations and the lobbyists. So that's what we're here doing today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Marty. I think you all appreciate
This just feels like they couldn't find anything by the amount of time that they had originally allotted for themselves. So they decided to point it to one of the studies that they found when they were looking, which were the minor ones that I said had basically almost no, correlation at all pointing to it. And then, came to this.
passion in the president's voice. We've been hearing that since the inauguration. In fact, even before the inauguration, the president was upset about what he spoke to today. And so together with Secretary Kennedy, who's made it his life's work to address some of these challenges with autism, they challenged us. In fact, they were harsher than that. They wanted no silos to break down what the NIH would do, what the FDA would do, what CMS would do. They insisted that the physician leaders...
Harris is on Mad Out tonight if you needed a change. Honestly, that might piss me off more. That might piss me off 5 times as much.
clutter because their agencies had the power. If we didn't do what every other prior administration had done, which is to let people function within their siloed environments. Because of that,
Just gonna be like, so I wrote my book. Pretty cool, huh? Whew, got my book. You should get my book. Did you hear what she said in there about Pete Buttigieg? Did you hear what she said? She's like, yeah, I didn't think America was like ready for me to run with a gay person, so I decided not to. And that's why I didn't pick him for vice president. What the fuck?
In historic fashion and a very accelerated manner, we have a response today to the autism crisis. It is the first of several chapters, but this is breaking news. You've heard some of it. The response to the autism crisis is going to continue to come to you under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, and the president wouldn't have it any other way, as you've heard. The FDA, based on NIH research, is approving prescription leucovorin for treatment of autistic children. Now, if you're following the script, there should be two questions that you have, two questions that should come to your mind. The first is, how will patients and parents get access to the treatment? I'll tell you how. Over half of American children are covered by Medicaid and CHIP, government.
Did y'all forget what you just did? Did y'all forget? Did you forget about the $900 billion that you took from Medicare and Medicaid? Have we forgotten so quickly? You were just touting that big beautiful bill.
Health insurance. Over
What
half.
are you talking about?
And therefore, because they're covered in Medicaid and CHIP, upon this label change by Marty, state Medicaid programs in partnership with CMS will cover prescription leucovorin around the country. It's yours, but you have to go to a doctor to get a prescription because they know your child, they know you, and they know the medication. States will also have tools to monitor its use and ensure appropriate utilization. That's important for a bunch of reasons because we want the right kids getting the right prescription medications. We believe private insurance companies will rapidly follow our lead if they have not already done so. And again, to make sure that this is safe and effective treatment, you need a physician to prescribe the medication because it's on
Who's
prescription.
going to monitor the
Second big
usage?
question. So, private insurance companies will rapidly follow our lead, right prescription utilization. That's important for a bunch of reasons because we want the right kids getting the right prescription and they know the medication. States will also have tools to monitor its use and ensure appropriate utilization. That's important for a bunch of these because it's on prescription. Second big question. How are we going to collect clinical data to answer the big questions that the president is asking and the secretary insists that we offer?
People's
CMS
health
is also
information?
issuing guidance to convene states and existing research networks to support NIH and FDA in their research efforts of prescription leucovorin, while also maintaining the privacy of all patients.
Wait, how would you maintain the... How are you maintaining... if you have all the info?
Health information of our beneficiaries. Collecting real-world data, which is what many of you have been asking us to do in the community, is fast, it is life-saving, and we'll get answers based on what happens over the next few months with this approach. The aggressive approach, and it is aggressive.
We will get answers of what happens over these next few months. They are actively saying, they are describing using the children of the United States of America, the autistic children of the United States of America, as a petri dish to test prescription leucovorin to see what happens when they give it to a large mass of people and then monitor and check and see. I mean, if we are actively like diving so quickly into Nazi Germany, it is absolutely insane.
Demanded by the president and by the secretary have already identified risk factors and opened the door for the first FDA recognized treatment pathway for autism. It is the first of its kind, and it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of the president and the secretary. The fivefold increased prevalence of autism over the past 25 years demands a rapid response. The average clinician, researcher, we spoke to many, thought it would take 5 years to get this data. Parents are unwilling to wait 5 years. The president is unwilling to wait 5 years for these results. So the president and the secretary are acting today with this.
Now, all of a sudden, tons of children, tons more children will be told that they have autism because of whatever their parents have decided that means that they have autism. Hyperreactive or just running around a lot, whatever they decide, that means that they have autism. And then they're going to go get a prescription for this medication to then just give to their children, whether they even have autism or not. They're just going to give this to kids. That's what's going to happen, like, immediately. They're like, it's
Tri-agency move. The administration's
and like the fact that they're yes, honestly though, the fact that they're using the kids as a petri dish, I mean, this is eugenics in itself. What they are doing right now is actively eugenics to potentially harm this large population of presumably autistic children. I mean, like, that's
bold actions investing in groundbreaking research follow the science. They restore trust, which has been lacking, and they will change the trajectory for millions of American families. Mr. President, God bless you for being brave. Thank you very much. So let me introduce Dr. Fink, who's acting administrator, and after Dr. Fink, we've got some wonderful women, Jackie and Amanda. I know it's going to be tough, but if you can make some comments about this historic day, God bless you.
who's up next. Oh,
Thank you,
Jesus.
Mr. President, for this opportunity to speak with all of you today.
What
As a
is with
pediatrician
all
and
of
mom-
them always having to use that inner front pocket? Do they feel cool? Is that what it
I'm here
is?
today to talk about what this announcement means for the millions of moms and dads who are faced with the choice of whether to take acetaminophen during pregnancy. It's hard to hear information that
And
challenges
they're
the status
prefacing everything here as if you take it once, you've chosen it, you've decided to give your kid autism. Now that you've taken that one pill, your child now has autism.
quo. We are sharing this information not to confuse, but to empower parents to make the best choices when taking medications during pregnancy. We are all concerned about the rising rates of neurodevelopmental disorders, including autism. President Trump
Who is
and
this lady?
Secretary Kennedy
No idea.
are dedicated to radical transparency
Not a single idea.
so that patients have the best, most up-to-date information. We are also sharing this
take
information
double
with our
Tylenol
nation's
now.
doctors. And we encourage you, as always,
Is she one of the
consult with
moms?
your doctor to make the best decision for you.
Political
All too
violence is
often,
bad.
it's
People
easy
should be
to think
peaceful.
that medicines we buy without a prescription
Fuck it.
pose little to no
You know what
risk for the
political
mom
violence
or
is?
the baby.
Political violence has been happening to the people in the
As
United
you heard
States
today,
from the government.
Pregnant women
for
who
249
need high
years.
fever or pain reduction during pregnancy should take the lowest effective dose of acetaminophen for the shortest possible duration. Most women will not meet these indications during their pregnancies. I am encouraged by these developments today because it is another example of our commitment to the American people to leave no stone unturned in improving the health of our
Also, in
nation's
turn, you're
children.
just blaming Tylenol.
Next, I'm going to turn it over to some incredible mothers who are going to share more about their stories, and we're so grateful to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President and team, for all your work.
Oh no, that was not one of the random mothers. That was someone to introduce one of the random mothers. I'll also put this here for in case any Republican dipshits want to, press
It's a
it
historic
and
day,
call
and
in.
I'm thankful to be here. I have a son who's 5 who is profoundly autistic, and you've probably heard if you've met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. It's a spectrum, which I don't
Wait, what?
think the spectrum is helpful, but that's another conversation.
This is who we got up there. This is who we got up there to say that I don't think the spectrum is helpful, actually. I don't actually believe in there being a spectrum. What the fuck? What is going on?
He is an amazing little boy, a blessing from God. He's marvelous. He can count to 1,000. He knows all of his letters and the sounds they make and a word for each one. But but he also has a lot of obstacles. He is nonverbal. He can say those numbers and letters, but there's no communication. Unless you've lived with profound autism, you have no idea. You have no idea.
If I had you as a mother, I also would not want to speak with you. I also would speak, but not to you. Like,
and he
what?
will get frustrated because he can't speak. It's not even that he can't speak. Sometimes he just doesn't understand what I'm saying. He understands the word no, but he doesn't understand the why behind the no. And that's a huge part of discipline. That's the discipline. So it's very hard to discipline a child with autism, so you have these behaviors.
Dude, what the
And
fuck is going
hopeless
on?
feeling. It's very isolating being a parent with.
Yeah, these are the kind of people who are going to give their children leucovorin, whatever the fuck. These are the types of parents. He's just like, he's nonverbal, but he can speak, just not to me. And he can count to 1,000, but like dude, what the fuck are you talking about, lady?
Profound autistic child. Even just taking them over to your friend's
Good
house.
God.
Is something we just don't do because, again, they're going to be met with.
I
no,
can't even go to my friends'
no,
houses.
No, and no understanding of why. And then there's a meltdown. And then you're in a situation where you're just helpless and you're just trying to protect your kid. So it's just better not to do it. You learn your limits, and it's been really hard.
That's called having a child. That's literally just called having a child. If you have a child, you now have things that you are not going to be able to do. That's what happens. You have a child now. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, I can't go to my friends' houses because the damn kid's loud. Ugh.
This is amazing that we're here today. And no one has been able to point to anything to say this is what caused it. And you can't point to that and say it didn't cause it. I have no idea. I am completely open, not blaming anything, but I'm open to the discussion and the fact that there's work being done to find answers. I'm very grateful. I was already excited to vote for Mr. Trump anyway, as president. But when we got word of RFK doing his work, I was ecstatic. I could not wait for this work to be done, that somebody would try to find us some answers. I'm just very grateful. I pray for my son every day and hope that he can get the help that he needs. And
Jesus Christ. She sounds like she's got a gun on her from off stage. She is speaking like a hostage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny. You take care of yourself.
Hi, my name is Jackie. I'm also extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here and share my son's story.
Here we go with
my
this
son
one.
is Eddie. He's 11. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum from what Amanda just explained. He's considered high functioning. He was not always high functioning. He was nonverbal till the age 4.
Until 4. Now I guess I'd call him high function. Now he's now that he's not 4 years old, he's high functioning.
We've had quite a hard time to get to the place where we are today.
You just probably shouldn't have had a kid, lady.
I am just so grateful to President Trump and the entire administration for finally listening.
It's like all of them. They all just sound like people who should not have become parents. That's all they sound like. Yeah, just basically my kid has issues with things and stuff and it pisses me off, so I don't like having to deal with it. Like, what the fuck?
To moms who have been crying out for help, for answers for years. I've met so many other moms with children on the spectrum in the 9 years since my son's diagnosis, and they all have very similar stories, and they've all just wanted somebody to listen, to not ridicule them or look at them like they were the crazy people. It's hard when you don't have doctors that take the time to really listen and find out when the change happened and what change happened. And it's just, I've been praying for this day for 9 years, and I'm so.
Imagine being this piece of shit's kid sitting at home and your mother is on stage saying, for 9 years, I've been praying that my child would just be more of what I would consider normal. I've been praying that they'd be different, and they haven't done that. So I'm hoping we can get some government mandated drugs to put inside my kid, and then maybe they'll be what I consider normal.
So thankful to God.
The kid is there?
bringing
Oh
the
my
administration
God.
into our
Holy
lives,
shit.
and
Talk about trauma.
I'm speechless. This day is a day I never thought would happen. I thought that we would never have an administration that was courageous enough
Yeah, only
to look
these
into
ones.
things that no prior administration had. So I'm just here to express my gratitude, and I am looking forward to what comes from this, and hopefully we just get more answers. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So I just want to say acetaminophen is basically Tylenol.
Oh, he got it there.
Essentially, because I noticed that term is used throughout this conference.
It is basically Tylenol.
So it's essentially Tylenol. And I just recommend strongly that you don't use Tylenol.
This is going to be like the biggest lawsuit of all time. This is going to be fucking huge.
It's absolutely necessary. I understand it's maybe 10% of the women that are pregnant are, would perhaps be forced to use it. And that would mean you just can't tough it out. No matter what you do, you can't tough it out. So that's up to you and your doctor. But there's a very strong recommendation, maybe stronger from me than from the group.
Yeah, I score a
they're waiting for
186
certain studies. I don't,
on the
I
RADS
just wanna
test,
say-
but
I
I've
wanna say
never
it like it is.
been
Don't
formally
take Tylenol.
diagnosed.
Don't take it.
Because I also knew, well, at least I always felt to not tell things like that to my doctor growing up because I never trusted my doctor.
Just can't. I mean, it's fight like hell not to take it. There may be a point where you have to, and that you have to work out with yourself. So don't take Tylenol. Other things that we recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is
Certainly I do.
and it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little
I need to take
body
that
of a
test. You can take it
baby.
right
Even if
online.
it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. you just
RAADS,
break it up into,
I believe.
I would say 5, but let's say 4. 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1. And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out. and are in the
RADS-R.
process
Yeah,
of
I
taking
took
out
there's a
mercury
cat
and
Q
aluminum
afterward,
now.
which is how much
You know
you
what
mask
mercury is,
as
you know
well.
what
I took
aluminum
that.
is. Who the hell wants
Pretty big
that
number.
pumped into a body? And there were rumors about both of them for a long time, but we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's sexually transmitted, and we think you should wait. I think you should wait till 12. I'm making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors because when they
This is fucking insane. These ones are from me. These ones are from me. No babies with the hepatitis B vaccine. Next one, vaccine's bad. Next one, no butter. We shouldn't have any more butter. No more butter, everybody.
They talk about, different results, different studies. I talk about
So,
a lot of common
definitely not
sense, and
always.
they
Yeah,
have
it can be
that too.
transmitted
They
via
have
just
that
like
too, a lot.
blood, correct?
But I recommend the hepatitis B. Take it at 12. Sexually transmitted. You don't have to give it to the baby when the baby's 2 years old. And there are a lot of theories on that, but not when they're 12. Doesn't seem to be a problem at all. The MMR and the chicken pox. Chicken pox has already been
Long low
broken
butter. I
out.
use a lot of butter.
It's a singular shot, but the MMR is not. And I've heard for years that there's a problem with it, but they say that there's no problem if you do each shot separately, not put together. So an MMR, go out and do it separately. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby after the baby's born. Every time the baby
just
gets a
throwing
shot,
this
the
in
baby
there at
goes,
the-
gets a shot. They say,
This isn't
"Here, take
even-
a cup of Tylenol." I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Now, Tylenol is fine for people that aren't pregnant,
Babies.
that aren't in the situation that we're talking about. One very specific situation. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol at all, unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't do
This is fucking insane.
it. Break up your visits to the doctors. Break them up. Do it in 5 if you can. Now, it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient. Oh, you got to have to go back another year later. You're going to go back each year for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. Just break it up. Break it up, because it's too much liquid. Too many different things are going into that baby at too big a number.
It's too much liquid? Man. You know, sometimes I just wish that I could be just so stupid that I could just follow along with what he's saying and be like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. This is I don't
The
even
size of this thing, when you look at it, it's like 80 different vaccines and beyond vaccines, and 80. Then you give that to a little kid. I mean, I can tell you that I had a woman who worked for me, a beautiful, wonderful woman, worked in Trump Tower, and
beautiful is the
she
only
had the
fucking
most
descriptive word you can
perfect
use.
child. Beautiful. Just perfect. And I remember this little blonde-haired boy running around the lobby of Trump Tower, so healthy and so vibrant. And I said, that's great. One day I came in and she was crying, her eyes out, behind the counter. She worked at the front desk. She was crying her eyes out. I've never, as much as I've ever seen anyone distraught, she was. I said, are you okay? What happened? My boy, I've lost my boy. What does that mean, your boy? My boy, you know.
What does that mean? This might be the only human being on Earth who has no fucking idea what the hell this person may be talking about.
Sir, you've seen him grow up. He was so beautiful.
It's like, I don't remember him. Who?
And I took him for a vaccine, sir. And he developed this unbelievable, I think she said 107, 108. You know, it goes well beyond when this happens. It goes up to 106, 107, 108. You know, we hear 105 and you're in trouble, but it just goes up to a level that you never hear about, but it goes up very high. And it's fried. They get fried. She said, I took him, he developed an unbelievable temperature.
What?
And I've lost him, sir. He's gone. And then I saw the boy. It was so tragic to see. That was the following day. After the vaccine. And I've seen it 2 other times, and I think 3 other times, but 2 other times, where they go to the doctor and they get the vaccine, they get the shot. The kid is, badly hurt. Let's be nice, badly hurt. And just do it. Break it up into 5, break it up into 4, break it up into 3 if you have to, but go to the doctor 4 times instead of once, or 5 times instead of once. And for some reason, they insist that you put it all into the body, and maybe that's the drug companies that make more money that way.
Good God.
Maybe it's the doctors because they don't want to be, doing this so much. Maybe it's the doctors. They get maybe more money. Who the hell knows what it is? Don't do
What the fuck do you know? There's so much science behind this stuff.
it. Get them
There's
broken into
so
4 or
much
5 visits.
science.
Do it 4 or 5. That means you have.
Why is it that We have you want smart people, don't you? Do you not want things? Do you not want things to be better?
20%, 25% what you're putting into the baby's body. It can only help. Can only help. And the other things I told you about, just the word tough it out. You know, it's easy for me to say tough it out, but sometimes in life with a lot of other things, you have to tough it out also. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby. When the baby's born,
doctors
they
will get
throw
a
it
ton
at
more
you.
money
Here,
from
give
his
him
idea.
a couple of Tylenol. They give him a shot. They give him a vaccine. And every time they give him a vaccine, they're throwing Tylenol. And some of these babies, they're long born, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it doesn't hurt not to do it. It doesn't hurt.
It does hurt not to do it. What are
There's
you?
no downside.
You can't say these things. You can't say these things. It's reminding me of hold on, let me show you what it's reminding me of.
What a mind-blowing finish to an incredible game tonight with Charlie Sanders winning the game in literally the last second. Unbelievable, truly spectacular. Charlie Sanders, how does it feel?
Hey, yo, I want to say something to everybody watching. Yo, you can do anything. Anything's possible. The world is yours.
Charlie, did you think that game was going to end that way tonight?
Yo, there are no limits, all right? You can swim across the Atlantic. You can jump real high and touch the moon.
Fantastic. Charlie Sanders, fresh off of his victory, just feel like he's ready to touch the moon.
I can fly. Anybody can fly. If you believe in yourself the way I believe in myself tonight, you will fly.
And what's next for Charlie Sanders and the Orange?
Kids, you can actually fly.
No, not literally.
This is how it feels.
Literally, kids, young kids. I want you to go up on your roofs right now.
Wait, what?
Fly into the night sky.
Okay.
People will see you flying, and you can do anything. You can do anything.
Okay, well, we just want to remind the kids that, of course, you cannot actually fly, kids.
Come on, yo, screw that negativity, man. Hey, boys and girls, ages 8 through 12. Yo, don't let nobody ever tell you what you can and cannot do. All them preteen children out there, listen to my voice. You are immortal.
Okay, well, obviously we understand that Charlie is super excited right now and that no one is actually immortal. No.
Trump administration this term.
You
Yeah.
can turn yourself into a car and have a friend drive you onto the freeway.
Okay, no, well, that's just a metaphor, kids.
It's not.
Just
You
a metaphor.
still have the power of childish innocence. Get a friend on your back and make a beeline for the next ramp to the freeway, y'all.
Okay, don't do it.
To the freeway.
He's speaking figuratively.
Yo,
the
Once
freeway.
you get there, ain't nothing figurative about this. You will turn into a robot.
First and foremost, I just want to say the 12 families who lost children, I'm sorry. My statements were irresponsible.
I mean, this is literally what we're
Subsequently
seeing.
Looked up the terms literally and metaphorically and found that whereas I was not incorrect, they did not mean what I thought they meant.
There's no downside at all. And break up MMR. Break it up. It's practically a known fact that if you break it up, you're not going to have a problem.
It's
But for
practically a
years, we've been
known
hearing how
fact.
bad MMR is as a combination. And I'm very happy that you broke out chickenpox because that was really a problem. And there are other
What?
things. It's interesting because there are other things because that was really as a combination. And I'm very happy that you broke out chickenpox because that was really a problem. And there are other things. It's interesting because there are other things, we were talking about it, other different drugs.
I'm happy that you broke out chickenpox. What the fuck does what does that mean?
Pills that you take.
Also,
that we know are so
139, yes,
bad and they
welcome,
don't take them
welcome.
anymore, but for some reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it.
Kids,
You'll be uncomfortable.
ages
It
8
won't
to
be as
12,
easy, maybe.
go on the
But
roof. You
don't
can
take it.
literally
If you're
fly.
pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
This is so
And
ridiculous.
don't give it to the baby after the baby is born. And you know what? We have more than 3 years left. And I told Bobby and the doctors behind me, and they are so committed to this, I told them that this is the number one thing I want to do from you. And you know, we have something else called Favored Nations, where I'm going to be
Cheers, Stoner
reducing
Chick.
drug prices by 1,000%, by 900, 600, 500, 1,200. We're going to be reducing drug prices at levels never seen. It's called Favored Nations. We're going to be paying what right now, we're like the garbage can for the rest of the world, and we have been for forever. We pay much higher for drugs than the rest of the world. We subsidize the rest of the world. We're not doing that anymore.
That's not how it works.
And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. That's bigger than anything. I told the story the other night that I was so proud in my first term that for the final year, drug prices went down 1/4%, and I was so proud. I said, "Why?" I'm the first one to do it. I think it was 28
The CAT-Q
years. They said,
score,
where
I didn't really
drug prices
understand.
went down from
CAT-Q,
the
that's
beginning of the
really
curve
high
to
for the
end.
CAT-Q.
And I was so proud. I called a news
Wow.
conference. I said, you know, drug prices have gone
With
down.
that high of a
First time
CAT
it's
Q, that
happened
could
in
imply
28
that
years.
your
You know
other
what it
score
was?
might be a little
1/4 of
higher.
1%. I
If you-
was so proud. Now we're going to have
I would recommend
go down from
gradually taking the test a couple times.
$100 a pill to $9 a pill. From $1,300 for a shot of
Not like all in a row, but
like
like
an Ozempic or
a couple weeks from now,
the fat-
take it.
I call it the fat pill or the fat drug.
Him and the fat
Sometimes it
drug.
works, I guess,
I've
for
got this
people. The
fat
ones I've
friend.
seen, it hasn't worked so
He's
well.
fat.
A lot of friends, they're fat. They said, "Yeah, I lost some weight." I said, "You don't look it to me." But they paid $1,300, $1,200, and they go to London and they pay $88. And they call me. They go, "What's this all about?" We're subsidizing the rest of the world stupidly because we have a lot of stupid people in this country running things. And how big is that? But to me, that's nothing compared to
Anybody
autism.
can fly.
I see that gorgeous boy. I have a big
Dude.
present for him in the back. You know,
Yo, what?
you bring him back.
This guy is the list. This guy is the list. This is the Epstein list. We are looking at it. What the fuck is he talking about? That boy right there, look at him. Beautiful boy, you. The beautiful one. Bring him in the back. What the fuck, dude? Just keep your mouth shut, Donald, please.
We're going to bring him into the Oval Office. I have the best present he's ever going to get, okay? A big one. I saved it for you, okay? Because I heard you were coming.
Okay.
How beautiful
I'm going to
he is.
leave it there.
So
Yikes.
that's it. There's nothing much to say. Don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant.
Well, you're right about the there's nothing much to say thing. Well, there's a lot to say. Alas, I am, unfortunately, all of a sudden a man of few words after hearing that.
And don't give Tylenol to your child
And PSA, everybody.
when he's born or she's born. Don't give it. Just don't give it.
He just
And we're
remembered
gonna
that there
have, I
could
think,
be
really,
she's.
If you do all the things that I say, break it up.
Seriously, I don't know how no one has like cut the fucking signal by now. I don't know how the entire White House is powered into. They go, oh, oopsie, press, get out, press, out, press.
Just break it up. Break up the shots with the doctor. MMRs, as I told you, separate. Chickenpox already separate. You do these things. I'm telling you, I want to, when I leave office, I don't want to have, it's going to be
When you
the kind
leave
of
this
number that
earth,
we're
you mean?
hearing, where it's 1 in 32 or 1 in 10, because I've heard 1 in 10 also.
We're down to 10. It was 11 at the beginning. It was all the way down to 1 in 11. In that time, he must have like a live autism per capita tracker. He must have some sort of tracker up in the White House. But, oh, the numbers just it's now 1 in 10. We have little time, everyone. We need to go now. Everyone move.
And in California, it's really bad. I want it to be, let's get it back to maybe 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 20,000 or maybe none in 20,000.
Yeah, that would be called eugenics. That would be called killing people. What the fuck are you talking about?
And the only way you're going to do that, because this is artificially induced. This is induced by something. You don't go from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000, then to 1 in 10. That means you're taking something and something's wrong. And I feel
This dude,
very certain, and I know I'll be criticized.
he must get the children's menu at every place he goes to. He must get the children's menu. They must automatically give him like 3 boxes of crayons to chew on and the children's menu. I don't know.
Someday they'll look back and they'll say, well, it wasn't, but I think it will. I think we're going to have a tremendous, this is one of the most.
Well, it wasn't, but I think it will.
There's nothing more important than me.
There's nothing more important than
Biden
me.
gave us the most important. There's nothing. I think we're going to have a tremendous, this is one of the most, this is the most important. There's nothing more important than me. Where you
There's nothing more important than me. There's nothing more important than me. What the fuck are we? What is going on?
cured inflation that Biden gave us. He gave us
you
so much
cure-
inflation.
how do you
the
cure
biggest ever in
inflation?
history. We got inflation done.
Play- you wanna hear it
There's
again?
nothing more important than me. We cured inflation.
There's nothing more
One of the
important
most-
than
This
me.
is the most important. There's nothing more important than me. We cured inflation that Biden gave us. He gave us so much inflation.
He talks
the
about
biggest
curing
ever in
inflation.
history. We got inflation done. We brought prices down. We gave you the largest tax cuts. All that stuff. It doesn't mean a thing compared to what we're doing today. This means everything. So we're going to save a lot of children from a.
If you want to find out the numbers about inflation, you just look up Trump, Elon, inflation.
Life. Okay, how about a few questions? Let's just make it on this subject. This is so beyond as a subject that I'd rather not talk about, some nonsense on the economy. And I will say this, the economy is unbelievable.
What?
The stock market just hit another record
He's
high.
like,
and all
nobody
that
better
stuff.
ask about the economy.
This means more to me. Yeah, please.
I have one on your announcement, one on vaccines that's also related.
Yes.
Why do you think we haven't heard more previously about the tie to autism in acetaminophen?
Nobody knows. I don't know. Not only that, when you say it,
because it's not real,
you get attacked.
I wonder why. Maybe because it's not fucking true.
I was.
Instead of like logically thinking 1 to 2, 2 to 3, they're like, oh, the liberals don't like it when I blame Tylenol. That must mean I'm right. That must mean I'm onto something. I've cracked the case.
Saying something similar, not as strongly, because now facts are on our side.
What
but I was
fact?
saying it with Bobby 20 years ago, and I was attacked. I
You
said,
were
"Whoa,
saying
what was that all about?" I
Tylenol
had
20 years ago?
No idea. You get
Sounds like confirmation bias to me.
attacked. I don't know. The medical community, the drug companies, doctors. I don't know what it is. All I want to do, I don't care. I don't care about being attacked. It doesn't matter to me. I believe that the numbers at the end of our term or shortly thereafter could be really phenomenal. I want it to go up, just like it came
I don't
down
know,
to this
Musical,
horrible level.
Did you find
1
out?
in 10, 1 in 12. I was told 1 in 10. I was told 1 in 12. Today I heard 1 in 31 if you add the girls and the boys together.
But wait, are we not counting? Are we only counting boys? We're actually only counting boys?
It's crazy. And it was 1 in 10,000 and 1 in 20,000. It's not even sustainable for a country. You want to know the truth. And there are other places that don't have it. And they have things in common. And that's called medical research. Yeah, please.
But I'm curious, as you look at the trend lines,
Yeah.
how much of this is the causation of acetaminophen and how much is sort of better diagnosis, doctors, researchers having a better
yeah,
understanding
exactly.
of what is on the autism spectrum?
He's like, what do I say? What do I RFK, what do I say?
Sure, go ahead, Rob.
That's one of the canard that has been promoted by the industry for many years, that it's changed diagnostic criteria, better recognition. But there's been study after study done of that completely debunks that. One of them by the Mind Institute at UC Davis, University of California. But also it's just common sense.
Oh, right,
because
right.
You're only seeing
He's like, but don't look into what I just said. Common sense. Common sense.
And people who are under...
I'm just curious what he referenced.
Completely debunks that.
It was from what?
That has been promoted by the industry for many years, that it's changed diagnostic criteria, better recognition. But there's been study after study done of that completely debunks that. One of them by the Mind Institute at UC Davis, University of California. But also it's just common sense. Because you're only seeing this in people who are under 50 years of age. If it were better recognition or diagnosis, you'd see it in 70-year-old men. I've never seen this happening in people my age. I've never seen a case of full-blown autism, and that means profound autism.
Did you just say full-blown?
Very careful. Head banging, stimming, toe walking, nonverbal, non-toilet trained. I've never in my life seen a 70-year-old man who looks like that.
Was it his aunt that was lobotomized? Wait, who was it in his family? Does he not remember, like, what we used to do to mentally unwell people in the United States of America? Does he not remember? He definitely remembers. He definitely remembers when we used to just throw people into mental care facilities. These, like, asylum places. What the fuck what is he talking about?
Kids. It's an epidemic.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was hoping that you could clear up confusion for moms and dads across America, many of whom voted for you. There's a statement that was put out by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and in their statement, they write, acetaminophen remains a safe, trusted option for pain relief during pregnancy, and that's at odds with what you said and with what many of the experts say. How do you clear up this confusion?
That's the establishment. They're funded by lots of different groups. And you know what? Maybe they're right. I don't think they are, because I don't think the facts bear it out at all. They're fighting for something that, in my opinion, they shouldn't be fighting for. But here's the thing. There's no downside to doing...
What do you mean there's no downside?
As I say, tough it out a little bit. There's no downside to doing this. It's not like, oh,
you don't just
if you
tough
do this,
it out,
you're going
man.
to die. There's no downside. There's no downside to going over a 4-year or a 5-year period or a 3-year period, or even if you space them out for 6 months, you space it out. There's no downside. And that's why I will say the gentleman behind me, they have very strong views, and they feel that we're right, but they'll have more research done over the next 2 months. I said, well, 2 months is a long time. A lot of people...
Yeah, and Donald said, we don't want to do the research. We don't want to do the... Just give me something now. We don't want to do the... We don't need a scientifically backed study. Give me something now, and let's have a press conference. And here we are.
Could be saved. And there's no downside to doing it. Everything I said, there's no downside to doing it. It can only be good. And I think you're going to see very good
Donald
results.
said he was blaming it for 20 years.
And
So
we've been reading that about a lot of things for years. And you know what's happened? We've gone from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 32 to 1 in 10. Think of it. 1 in 10 or 12 or 1 in 31. Think of it. 1 in 31 people, young kids, get autism. What is it, Jeff?
My question is about leucovorin. You mentioned that as part of your plan. That is also a chemotherapy treatment. Have you been in touch with the drug companies to
Why don't
increase
I have the
production
doctor
about
answer
that?
that?
And just, I'm going to throw in my follow-up at the same time. Dr. Oz mentioned that this will be available with CHIP, children who are on CHIP. But the big beautiful bill reduced funding for CHIP and Medicaid by $1 trillion over the next 10 years.
That's what
Are
I
you
said.
concerned that that will impact your ability to get this drug
I'll
out?
explain it to you in a second, but please go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leucovorin is not a chemotherapy, but it is a vitamin given with chemotherapy sometimes.
Cheers,
The
Crafty.
idea here is that the folic acid receptor in the brain is blocked by some antibody response. Might be 20, 40, 50% of kids with autism. And leucovorin will bypass
20,
that blocked
40,
receptor,
50,
and that's
huh?
why so many doctors are probably seeing so much clinical improvement on kids with leucovorin.
So are you going to increase production?
Yeah, we've been in touch with the companies, and they are prepared to ramp up production, and we actually talked to them about a month ago.
And on your second part of your nasty question, the
Oh my
number
God.
is that the great big beautiful bill, which is the greatest, I think one of the best things
Most
ever passed in the history
beautifulest,
with the tax cuts and
bigliest.
regulation cuts and all of the things it does.
Dude, it
no
cuts
tax on
$1
tips,
trillion
no tax on
out,
Social
you
Security,
stupid
no
fuck.
tax on-
This isn't even like a political question. This is like, if people wanted to get your things, they couldn't. People should not go and get their kids this, but if they wanted to, they physically could not with Medicaid.
So overtime, all of it does. It also gives $200 million, as just explained by Dr. Oz. And I'd like you to explain that, Doctor, to exactly what you're saying.
Donald didn't read it, so like, who knows what he even actually knows about the fucking
The Big
bill.
Beautiful Bill actually increases Medicaid spending projected
Wrong.
over the next 10 years by $200 billion.
Incorrect.
There's also a $50 billion Rural Health Transformation Fund, which will allow a lot of these programs to
Yeah, $50 billion, down from, $1 trillion.
get in the rural parts of the country that the president and Congress
Sure, that'll
are
work.
handing to governors to start distributing. Those grants have already gone out. The money will be allocated by the end of this calendar year. And I want to point out that the ability of NIH to do research that feeds and hands the ball to the FDA, which then can change labeling to allow Medicaid programs in states to fund this program, will ensure that the things that President Trump and Secretary Kennedy desire are financially affordable for the families around
The
them.
things that they desire, the things that Donald Trump and RFK desire happen, we got to make sure.
Well, most of the kids are on Medicaid, probably 43% on Medicaid, another 8-10% on CHIP, and all the programs in general are being evaluated. Most of what the one big beautiful bill was seeking to do was to remove fraud, waste, and abuse.
Beautiful
but the programs
deal.
themselves should stay financially intact for the people for whom they were designed, and in this case, for children.
And the only thing we cut, so that's $200 billion positive.
Had to
The
block
only thing we cut was
hhs.gov for my
fraud,
search
waste, and
results
abuse,
today.
Of which there was a lot in this country.
Yeah.
And nobody
Good thing to
minds
do,
it.
though.
Please.
Crazy that it has to be done, though.
There is no reason to give newborn babies hepatitis B vaccines. But hepatitis B can be contracted not just through sexually transmitted diseases, it can come from needles to open wounds. So when you say
blood
you
transmission.
feel, is that appropriate to be telling?
I think it's absolutely appropriate. I think they should.
I don't really care what doctors say. I don't really know how diseases work. I don't know how,
Until they're 12 years old.
so
Yes,
I'd say 12.
For being here, you've been
He
talking
just-
about
yeah, that was
reducing
it.
autism by spacing out vaccines. Would you like other combined vaccines babies receive to be spaced out like MMRV?
What is this again?
What the fuck is an MMRV? What the fuck? What in the hell?
You've been talking.
Speak up, please.
Sir. You've been talking about reducing autism by spacing out vaccines.
Right, correct.
Would you like the other combined vaccines babies receive to be spaced out like MMRV?
I would say yes, but that just is, for me, it's a lot of common sense involved in this. It's a process, but we're looking, but it should at least be given separately. Now, it's possible that you can reduce them and give it. I'd give them in small.
Now, Donald, tell us any information about any of these vaccines. I'm gonna have to pass it off to RFK Jr. to ramble about some random shit.
Doses, but it's possible maybe in that particular case. the
She's just looking
MMR
at him like
wouldn't work in small doses, but you can certainly. Give
she's
them-
got about to be raptured tomorrow face. She has pre-rapture glee.
A separate shot.
I believe that's what you call
It's
that.
been proven to be very safe when you give them in separate shots instead of mixing. So I don't think there's any reason to do that. Do you agree with it? I'm not a doctor, but I'm giving my opinion. I don't think there's any reason to do that. So it's been proven to be safe when you break them up. But MMR by itself, I've heard bad things about it for many years. Yes, please.
You don't know what the fuck it is, dude.
Broad, in your opinion, for research purposes, you are dealing with a population of
Is this? Yes, Donald Trump is the one who is qualified to answer the question of the spectrum being too broad.
children who might have social boundary difficulties, and then you have children who are, going to grow up to be adults in diapers. I mean, what do you think?
We don't know how broad the spectrum is. We don't know exactly where it starts and where it ends, but we do know what we're going through. We're going through some very serious trouble. And we know autism. I mean, it could be bigger, it could be small, a little bit smaller. But the number,
it could be big or a little bit smaller.
is unacceptable. And
What
the
are
number,
you
the way it's
talking
come
about?
down, because the spectrums remain the same. The number, the way it's come down is just unacceptable, meaning come down to that level of 1 in 10, 1 in 12, 1 in 31. Go ahead.
Down to like 1 in something, like all the numbers.
In the back.
This question is more directed towards Secretary Kennedy.
Honestly, they could just be like, Donald, what is a spectrum? You'd be like, oh, you mean like the internet?
About that, we're just kind of finding out about the fact that babies are affected this way. Is there a concern that information is being suppressed right now within HHS, and could an investigation perhaps be launched, seeing any more?
Well, I think information has been really not given out very freely over the years, absolutely. And I think that's by drug companies and maybe doctors, but I certainly think that over the years.
She's still
I
just...
think this is a different group. We have a lot of information. And that information, I mean, it's the information that we have that we're making these statements. And I'm making them out front, and I'm making them loud, and I'm making them strongly not to take Tylenol, not to take it. Just don't take it unless it's absolutely necessary, and there's not too many cases where that will be the case. And again, what's the worst? The worst is nothing can happen.
No,
It's
the
very
worst is you die. The worst is you die. I don't know where you're getting this. The worst is nothing can happen thing. The worst is death.
That's a positive thing. But I don't believe I don't actually believe that's possible. I think the results are going to be amazing.
Huh?
I want to see amazing results by the time I leave this beautiful building. And
He was going to say Earth. Tell me I'm wrong. He paused he said when I leave this, he stopped, trailed off, like he was gonna say like this Earth, and instead said build, like when I leave this building.
amazing results by the time I leave this beautiful building.
This
and I will consider
beautiful
this-
building.
I believe, with the wars, I've stopped 7 different wars. I've saved millions of lives. I've done a lot of things. This will be as important as any single thing I've done, because I know ladies, beautiful ladies just like this that are going through the same thing.
Oh my God, because I know beautiful ladies who have autistic kids. I gotta do this because I know beautiful ladies with autistic kids. So I gotta change some things. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
And it's not easy, and I admire you for being able to do it. But I admire him too. I wish I had a face that looked like that. If I looked like him, I would have been president a long time ago.
Does Donald Trump want to be a woman? What the fuck? I wish I had a face that looked like hers. Wow.
Widely used in other countries too. As you make this
Fuck.
announcement, do you expect your decision may affect
I
other
hope they
countries?
follow it, yeah. I hope they follow it. Yeah, other countries are, sell Tylenol. Some countries don't. I mean, I hear Cuba. Now, again, you have to check this out.
How do you not
But I
look
hear
it up?
Cuba doesn't have it because it's
How
very
do you
expensive.
not look it up?
And they don't have the money to have it, or they don't want to
Little
spend
boy.
the money to have it. They don't have Tylenol.
He was talking to
and
the
I hear they
moms.
have essentially no autism. So You'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you'll have to check, but everyone's telling me.
Yeah, Brian.
Medical professionals have warned
No,
for decades.
not you. You're CNN. You're fake news. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to go back to the Amish community, if I can, just for a second. I recently saw a man from Minnesota, an Amish man from Minnesota, on a podcast, and the host asked him what the rates were for like ADHD and autism, and he had no idea about ADHD, didn't know that it existed, and certainly didn't know of any cases. What are they
It
doing?
doesn't exist with the Amish community, and they don't take all of this junk.
See, what do you mean it doesn't exist? You can't say that. We're not. How much testing for autism have we done to with the Amish community? What the where are the studies? Where is any study at all?
It doesn't exist. That tells you, doesn't that tell you? That's like certain countries where it doesn't exist and they don't take it. Would you like to make a comment about that, Mark?
The Amish population is a very mixed group, so there's a subset that take vaccines, a subset that does not, and we know they have very low rates of chronic disease all across the board.
Yeah, so he comes up and confirms without exactly having to say. Donald Trump is not correct on that at all, and he doesn't even understand what the Amish are.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Should the establishment media show at least some openness to, trying to figure out what the causes of autism are?
I wish they would, yeah.
And why are they so closed-minded?
Well, they just look. It's not only the media, in all fairness. It's some people. When you talk about vaccines, they go crazy.
You're gonna blame the left.
And I'm a big supporter of vaccines. I got a certain vaccine approved in 9 months that would have taken from 5 to 12.
Ironically enough, he is right. He is right that when you talk about vaccines, some people go fucking crazy, but he's not right in the way he's saying it because he's implying that the left go crazy. But if I just bring up vaccines around someone on the right, they will go fucking ape shit. They'll go bananas because I said vaccine. They'd be like, "What the hell you think I want to get that goddamn?"
12 years. I'm very proud of it. A lot of people think it was one of the greatest things I've done, and some people think, mostly Republicans actually. I'll tell you, the Democrats think it was. They think Operation Warp Speed was one of the greatest things any president has done. Any president. It's we're very proud of what happened. We got hit with something that came from a place that shouldn't have happened, but it did happen.
What?
Those things take place, and
he's blaming China for
unpleasantly
COVID.
surprised. But no, I'm a big believer in vaccines. The polio vaccine, big believer in vaccines. I know Bobby and you guys have it out a little bit, but he's a believer in vaccines too. But
no, you're not.
I've seen
You
how
just
great
came up here to say that kids shouldn't get vaccinated with no scientific evidence.
vaccines can be, how incredible they can be. So I'm a believer. Yeah.
And I saw her face.
Your comments made about MMR and hepatitis B, I know that those were your suggestions, but have you spoken with Secretary Kennedy about actually making those changes?
I have, yeah, I have. I've spoken to all the doctors about it, and doctors that are not here right now. I've spoken to many doctors about everything we're talking about. And the Tylenol has started to be spoken of over the last period of time. But we've been doing the research. A lot of what they've been speaking about comes from right here, by research done by these people. And I just say it again, don't take Tylenol.
Hold on, let me say it again. This is for that lawsuit team.
Don't take it. And don't give it to your child after your child is born. And do all those other things, little things, just spread out your visits, et cetera, on the vaccine. And I want to thank
Absolute fucking ghoulish behavior that these people can even stand behind him and not make faces at the things he's saying. I can't believe, how many people we see up there with him.
everybody. This is a very important day. Thank you very much.
Don't even make a face when he just does this shit.
Will you meet with the Democratic leader, sir?
Just randomly heard Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, and then we will watch the next thing we have, which is a Caroline Levitt press briefing. So, yippee.
genocide. No, your grandkids one day are gonna ask you why. They got me fucked up. They got me fucked up. They got me fucked up. And Elon, we know exactly what that was, bruh. They got us fucked up. They got us fucked up. They got us fucked up. And Elon, we talking cobalt on the next one.
We're going for another edible. Oh, yum, it tastes so good. Mmm, yummy. Blech. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. Good to see all of you here. I want to start with a preview of President Trump's very busy schedule for the week.
Oh, God.
Later this afternoon, the president will be making a major announcement focused on the childhood autism epidemic, alongside his top health advisors who are working to make America healthy again. This will be a powerful display of how the entire Trump administration is committed to addressing root causes of chronic conditions and diseases, embracing full transparency in government, and championing gold standard science. Tonight, the president will depart to New York City ahead of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He will be joined in New York City by the First Lady. Tomorrow morning, President Trump will deliver a major speech touting the renewal of American strength around the world, his historic accomplishments in just 8 months, including the ending of 7 global wars and conflicts. The president will also touch upon how globalist institutions have significantly decayed the world order, and he will articulate his straightforward and constructive vision for the world. The president will also be hosting bilateral meetings to touch upon how globalist institutions have significantly decayed the world order, and he will articulate his straightforward and constructive vision for the world.
That sounds super Hitlery. What the fuck? When is his fucking Hitler meeting? Jesus Christ.
The president will also be hosting bilateral meetings with the UN Secretary General and the leaders of Ukraine, Argentina, and the European Union. The president will also later in the day hold a multilateral meeting with Qatar, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, the UAE, and Jordan. After these important meetings, the president will attend a reception tomorrow night with more than 100 world leaders before returning to Washington, D.C. On Thursday here at the White House, President Trump will welcome President Erdogan of Turkey for a bilateral meeting. And on Friday, the president will travel to Long Island for the Ryder Cup golf match between the United States and Europe. This event is one of the greatest sporting events in the world, and it would not be taking place this year without President Trump's help. President Trump signed an executive order last week preventing a strike that would have crippled the New York City area ahead of the tournament, and at the request of the 5 labor unions who all represent workers on the Long Island Railroad. One of the greatest golfers in the world, Bryson DeChambeau, praised the president's critical intervention, saying, quote, "When the possibility of a strike threatened to disrupt transportation and attendance, President Trump stepped up and took the action needed to protect this world-class competition." Thanks to President Trump's decisive leadership, the Ryder Cup experience will be everything fans and the golf community deserve. Again, that's a quote from the great golfer Bryson DeChambeau. Now let's all hope the American Ryder Cup team can take home the trophy. In other news, positive economic data continues to pour in. Brand new polling shows that Americans' faith in the economy and the direction of the nation is back on track and shooting even higher. Home ownership is more affordable, with mortgage rates dropping to a 3-year low. For new home buyers, this represents a $250 decline in your monthly mortgage payment, or nearly $3,000 a year. President Trump has made it very clear he wants to continue to see mortgage rates decline to a record low, just like they did in his first term. Thanks to President Trump's unleashing energy dominance, gas prices are dropping, and Americans are spending the smallest share of their disposable income on gasoline since 2005.
We're not spending any fucking money. We're not spending anything. Anyone who's below, like, the top, what is it, 60% or something? Or top, like, no, it would be like the bottom 60% who's in there, is at a non-moving increase. It's not increasing. Whereas anyone in that top 40 is slowly spending more and more money, and that's what's causing spending to go up overall, because there's so much money in the top motherfucker spending.
Additionally, the annual cost to own and operate a new vehicle is down by nearly 6% over the last year. Americans are earning more and they are spending more than ever before. After inflation outpaced for 26 straight months under Joe Biden, real wages have increased nearly every month since President Trump took office, with wages for blue-collar workers rising at the fastest rate in 6 decades. Retail sales are also booming, up 5% over last year. And the stock market is booming, and Americans' retirement accounts continue to do well, with the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all hitting new record highs. In fact, the S&P 500 is up nearly 15%, and the NASDAQ is up more than 21% since Election Day. As part of President Trump's mission to restore America as the manufacturing superpower of the world, he has secured nearly $9 trillion in U.S. investment, nearly 9 times more than Biden attracted in his entire 4-year term, and we expect that number to be upwards of $15 trillion very soon. We're already seeing the initial economic
Trump said it was
benefits of these
17
investments,
trillion.
with industrial production recently rising to an all-time high. President Trump built the greatest economy in the history of the world in his first term, and we are witnessing him do it all over again. Now, before I open it up to questions, I do want to speak on the heinous political assassination of Charlie Kirk. As President Trump powerfully stated yesterday, this assassination was an attack on everything that makes the United States of America the greatest country on earth. But that attack has completely failed. The heartwarming response from the overwhelming majority of the American people over the past 2 weeks is all of the proof that you need. The assassin who took Charlie's life can destroy flesh and blood, but he can never destroy the values that Charlie stood for. All across the country, millions of Americans have prayed, hosted vigils, attended church services, became politically engaged for the first time, and honored the legacy of Charlie
come back,
and
Charlie.
the ideals he died
Nope,
speaking
still dead.
for.
Still
the
dead.
Beautiful memorial service attended by President Trump and 100,000 great Americans in State Farm Stadium yesterday was just the latest example. And Erica Kirk's mercy was one of the greatest acts of grace
none of their family
this
members
world
were
has
there.
ever seen. May God continue
None
to
of
watch
Charlie
over
or
Erica
Erica's
and their beautiful
family
children.
members were at that.
Unfortunately, there have been some jarring exceptions to this unity. This past Friday, 58 House Democrats voted no, and 38 voted present on a resolution that simply stated condemning in the strongest possible terms the assassination of Charles James Kirk and all forms of political violence. There were no strings attached to this vote. This was a simple gesture of human decency to denounce political violence. I wish I could say that this was only a fringe
shut
group,
the fuck up.
but 96 votes is nearly half of the entire House Democrat caucus. And they didn't just vote against this basic resolution condemning political violence. A number of those same Democrats
Charlie
took to the
Kirk
House
Day on
floor
October
to smear
14th.
Charlie Kirk's name. The man wasn't even buried yet, and Democrat members of Congress
They're
were
playing clips
denigrating
of
his
things he
memory
said.
on the floor of the House
They were
of
playing things he
Representatives.
said.
This was truly a sad moment and a clear reflection of how radical the Democrat Party has become. Many Democrats in elective office have now been totally captured by a radical fringe of the far left base who want to dehumanize every person they disagree with. We must continue to call this wickedness out. It's the only way that our nation can heal. For too long, past leaders have offered platitudes while political violence has been allowed to fester and harm innocent Americans. There has been coordinated campaigns dating back years, spearheaded by radical left-wing organizations centered on dehumanizing, intimidating, doxing, and even attacking Americans whom they disagree with. These groups have radicalized impressionable individuals to foment violence. An attempted transgender
shut the
assassin traveled to
fuck
Justice
up,
Brett Kavanaugh's
lady.
family home with plans to end his life. An attempted assassin came within an inch of ending President Trump's life in Butler,
fuck?
Pennsylvania, and on the campaign trail, another attempted assassin tried to kill the president at his golf club in Florida. A left-wing assassin shot United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson right in the back in the heart of New York City. ICE agents are facing a more than 1,000% increase in assaults for simply doing their jobs.
They're not just
Violent,
doing
radical
their
left-wing
jobs.
mobs engaged in illegal
Sure.
behavior, targeted Jewish Americans, and shut down America's college
Jewish
campuses under the previous administration.
She has so much
Left-wing
propaganda to
mobs
read
burned
off
down
in a
Tesla dealerships
big
out of, quote,
fucking
protest
clump here,
of
huh?
Elon Musk and his policies. In May, a left-wing activist shouting "Free Palestine" murdered 2 innocent Israeli embassy staffers outside of the D.C. Jewish Museum here in Washington. These are just a few examples, prominent examples, of the growing left-wing political violence in our country. Enough is enough, and as President Trump has promised, he will directly address the dark sources funding and supporting this domestic terrorism to finally restore order in our country. The American people can expect further, very strong action on this very soon.
Very
Everyone,
strong
Republican,
action
Democrat,
very
everyone
soon.
in between. We all deserve to live in a country where we do not have to fear for our lives simply for stating what we believe in. With that, I will take your question. In today's new media seat, we have Monica Page, who is the White House correspondent for Turning Point
There were so
USA's
many just
news
different
organization
talking points
on
she
the front
threw
lines.
out there.
Monica, thank you for being here. We're so sorry for the loss of Charlie. I know you work for him, you were very close to him, and we appreciate your being in the new media seat and also your commitment to covering the White House. You are here every day, just like the rest of everyone in this room. So why don't you kick us off today?
Thank you so much, Caroline. I don't think you realize how much it means to me to be here in this seat, especially on behalf of Turning Point USA and Frontlines. We greatly appreciate it. We also greatly appreciate the outpouring of support and just the really kind words that we heard yesterday at the memorial service. That means more to us than I don't think anybody ever knows. And even the global support that we're seeing for Charlie
Bitch, shut
has
the
been
fuck
overwhelming.
up.
We've heard
Oh my
descriptions
God.
of
What is your
violence
question?
saying there is a domestic terrorist movement growing in this country. The president is designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. I'm wondering what is the approach to holding these people accountable, just to ensure that violence like this just is eradicated moving forward?
Sure. Well, Antifa is going to be designated a domestic terrorist organization. The president intends to sign that executive order very soon as it's drafted, as soon as today, later this afternoon. And this is something the president
Later this
campaigned
afternoon,
on
it's
because we have
10:30.
seen a rise in violence perpetuated by Antifa. Radical people across this country who subscribe to this group.
Antifa
and
radical
unfortunately, it's
people.
gone widely uncovered by many in the legacy media. It also went completely ignored by the
Antifa's
previous
not even a group, you
administration.
dumb
Not anymore.
shit.
Not only, as you mentioned,
Not
were
a
the
group.
bullet casings subscribe with Antifa mottos, if you will, in the heinous assassination of Charlie, but there have also been more examples than I could
there
read.
it is. Designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. That's the summary. Section 2. Designation as a domestic terrorist organization because of the aforementioned pattern of political violence designated designed to suppress lawful political activity and obstruct the rule of law, I hereby designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. All relevant executive departments and agencies shall utilize all applicable authorities to investigate, disrupt, and dismantle any and all illegal operations, especially those involving terrorist actions conducted by Antifa or any person claiming to act on behalf of Antifa, or for which Antifa or any person claiming to act on behalf of Antifa provided material support, including necessary investigatory and prosecutorial actions against those who fund such operations. What the fuck? But, you know, the thing after that is this order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law, and then like the which voids it out, you know, because you can't just, you know, do that. But
read off for
this
you
is
here in
fucking
this briefing room.
crazy. Like, all it's going to do is cause people to act even worse now. I mean, I guess unless he actually starts just randomly going after people, like illegally.
Today of violence from Antifa. I will just read a few. In July 2025, several members of an Antifa cell ambushed and opened fire on officers at an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, shooting one officer in the neck. Also in July 2025, 3 Antifa members were charged with assaulting a police officer during a violent riot outside an ICE facility in Portland.
Y'all sent the violent insurrectionists on January 6th to the Capitol building,
which for weeks prior had
What?
been under siege from the local Antifa terror cell. In February 2024, a transgender Antifa terrorist detonated an explosive device outside of the office of the Republican Attorney General of Alabama. In July 2023, Antifa members linked to abortionist group Jane's Revenge firebombed pro-life facilities and vandalized churches. In January 2022, a suspected Antifa member was arrested for bringing a pipe bomb to a pro-Trump event. In January 2021, an Antifa supporter threatened to shoot police officers and Trump supporters outside of the Florida State Capitol building. Again, I could continue to list many more examples for those.
This is
Those in the room who don't
insane.
believe this is a serious threat to American safety and our national security, but this administration knows that it is. That's why the president will be signing this order. And we will also be, most importantly, looking at who is funding Antifa and who is funding these other violent left-wing groups that we've seen.
You hear that, everybody? The government's going to look into you for funding Antifa. You're funding Antifa. Every subscription of yours is funding Antifa.
Perpetuate so much crime and mayhem across our country.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on, though. If you subscribe with Prime, that means that Jeff Bezos is funding Antifa. I think he should get looked into.
Charlie Kirk died exercising his First Amendment right, willingly debating, conversing with everybody and anybody. That was what he did.
She gets another question.
So what message does this White House have now to all Americans who feel like they are too afraid to express their beliefs, their values, their morals in the wake of such horrific violence? I think the president has answered this, and I will leave it to his response, Monica, where he so beautifully said, we have to keep fighting. We have to keep speaking up. We have to keep speaking our mind.
So beautifully he said.
I know that's what Charlie would want us to do, and we have a right to free speech in this country. The president supports
Not anymore,
it.
we
It
don't.
is protected by our beautiful Constitution, and Americans should not cower in fear. They should rise up in courage to continue speaking the truth. And to end on a lighter note, Caroline, I'd love to know what your favorite memory of Charlie is. Sure.
You know what my favorite memory of Charlie is? Counting or not counting gang violence? Blam! That's my favorite memory, Charlie.
Been published previously showing a possible link between acetaminophen and autism.
I know there's been many reports about what this announcement at 4 o'clock will be, Gabe. The president is very excited about this, so I don't want to scoop the president of the United States and our Secretary of Health and Human Services, but what I can assure you is that Robert F. Kennedy and the incredible health team that this president has put together are really viewing things in a much different lens. And they are paying attention to studies and the gold standard of science and research that many in this city for far too long have turned a blind eye to. So I think Americans are going to be enlightened and proud of what they hear later this afternoon, but I won't get ahead of the president on exactly what that
You think people are going to be proud of Donald Trump blaming Tylenol? What?
Going back to the president's social media post from over the weekend regarding the DOJ and his seeming frustration that they hadn't taken action quickly enough. I want to point to something that the president said during his inaugural address. Never again
Good luck with
will the
homework,
immense
boyo.
power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. We will not allow that to happen. Is the president going back on his promise?
No. In fact, the president is fulfilling his promise to restore a Department of Justice that demands accountability. And it is not weaponizing the Department of Justice to demand accountability for those who weaponized the Department of Justice. And nobody knows what that looks like more than President Trump. We are not going to tolerate gaslighting from anyone in the media or from anyone on the other side who is trying to say that it's the president who is weaponizing the DOJ. It was Joe Biden. And his attorney general.
Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden who did this.
General who weaponized the DOJ. Joe Biden used this sacred American institution to go after his political opponent in the middle of an election year. And you look at people like Adam Schiff and like James Comey and like Letitia James, who the president
Talking about the people
is
who
rightfully
Donald Trump was
frustrated. He
trying
wants
to
accountability
speak
for
about
these
Pam
corrupt
Bondi privately to, and
fraudsters
then
who abused their power,
publicly
who
Truth
abused
Social
their
about
oath
it.
of office to target
Dear
the
Pam,
former president and then candidate.
I
for the
want you to
highest
get rid
office
of
in the
these
land.
people.
And I think the president is reaffirmed in those frustrations and his hope for accountability by the millions and millions of people who reelected him to this office with a mandate to demand accountability.
my
And the
Reds went up to a
president has not
197.
been
Would
shy
you look
about
at that?
this, Gabe. In fact, when he
High
traveled
five.
to the Department of Justice earlier this year, all of you were there to cover it. He said, quote, "I demand a full and complete accountability for wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The American people gave a mandate to investigate and root the corruption out of our system, and that's what the president wants to see done."
Carolyn.
Ed.
On the autism issue again, there are reams of scientific research that suggests there's no clear link between autism and acetaminophen usage. You're suggesting today they may have new information on this. A lot of it, and this entire debate, has the potential to confuse women, especially pregnant women, about what to do. What do you say to those that say what you're doing today potentially just introduces more confusion into the debate?
I think women for many years, in fact for decades, Ed, have been
Mine's not a
confused
7, mine's a
by
186.
the rapid increase in autism in this country, in the childhood epidemic that is chronic epidemic, disease epidemic that is plaguing
Jesus, how many
America.
fucking times you want to like try and make it sound worse? How many times?
That is increase in autism in this country, in the childhood epidemic that is chronic epidemic, disease epidemic that is plaguing America's youth.
Let me try that again. Hold on. Didn't like that one either. Let me try it one more time.
Are confused about that, and they want answers to that. And that's exactly what this administration is focused on finding. And before you jump to conclusions based on reports that the White House has not even confirmed, I would encourage everyone in this room to go into the 4 o'clock announcement with some critical thinking skills and with some open ears to actually listen to what the president and his team of outsiders have to say about this. And there will be
Just because they are outside of intelligence, by the way, outside of like that sphere of intelligence, doesn't mean we should listen to them. Just because they are fringe does not mean they should be listened to. They're like, oh, but we haven't tried this. We haven't tried just giving them Cheeto dust. We haven't tried. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Discussed, and I think I know as a mother myself, I speak, I believe, for many mothers across the country who really want answers to what is happening to our nation's children. So again, I won't get ahead of the president, but I think everyone in this room needs to tone down the judgment before you even hear what people are going to say. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. So too on the Holman investigation, I mean, can you just speak to, did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Holman have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Holman never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most
Bring up
vocal
Joe Biden
supporters
again.
in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Holman did absolutely nothing
Dear
wrong.
Trump
And
administration,
even
look at
the,
this one message and
President's
only this
Department
one.
of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI looked into this just to make sure they had a number of different prosecutors
Even
and FBI
don't say even Kash Patel's FBI. That's not reaffirming. That is more worrisome. It is more worrisome if Kash Patel has looked into something than if he hasn't.
agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing in the White House, and the president stand by Tom Homan 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the president shut down the border. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions on far-left violence.
Sure.
The first one, the president said yesterday that the bullet hit Charlie, but it was aimed at every one of us. Do you and your colleagues have a heightened sense of fear following this shooting and this far-left violence we're seeing across the country?
I certainly think there's a heightened sense of awareness by conservatives across the country, by all of us here at the White House. Again, as I said to Monica, many of us were personal friends with Charlie and had involvement with Turning Point before we came and served our government in this way. So certainly it's a very shocking incident, and I think, you know, it's very unfortunate that those of us who work in this movement have to think about violence just for speaking our minds and for supporting President Trump.
And as a follow-up on that, I asked the president last night on Air Force One about this pattern of transgender violence we're seeing. You know, Charlie's killer lived with his boyfriend who identifies as transgender, and then we had the Annunciation shooting, the Covenant shooting, all of these incidents. The president said that we're looking into...
Yo, where are the people just being like, hey, all of the fucking violence has been committed by the people on the right? What's that about? Hey, what's that about? How come we're not designating all of the these crazy right-wing people as a terrorist organization? Why are we not considering every single fucking person who thinks they're going to get raptured as being in a terrorist organization? Like, are you kidding me?
to transgender violence? Does that
If
mean
you
that
think you're getting raptured tomorrow,
FBI is
like-
looking into it? And can you give any more clarity on how the administration is viewing this uptake in specifically transgender violence?
It's definitely something worth looking into, and I think anyone who denies that at this point is being willfully ignorant. And the administration is taking it seriously, all causes of violence, and why these people would be driven to such evil and such hatred. And there's probably many answers to that question, but the administration is really focused on all of them. For individual investigations and cases, of course, the FBI and the Department of Justice are leading those. But as for this overall violence and domestic terrorism that we're seeing, the White House and the President's policy team will be leading the charge, and that really begins with designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. And I can assure you there
that's
will be
where it
additional
begins,
actions to
huh?
come. Sure, in the pink.
Thanks, Caroline. Liz Landers with PBS NewsHour. I just wanted to follow up quickly on something that the president had said yesterday. So we heard from Erica Kirk. She said she forgives the man who shot and killed her husband. And then right after that...
Yeah, we saw that little... oh, we're going to hear...
We heard from the president who said, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them.
Yeah.
How does that square with bringing down the temperature of political violence in this country? And then, if I could, I had a follow-up on Venezuela, too.
Look, the president is authentically himself. I think that's why millions of Americans across the country love him and support him, including Erica Kirk.
Fucking... The president is authentically himself. Sometimes he's just going to go up there and tell everyone that he hates them. He'll just do that.
who you saw so beautifully, was on stage with the president.
No, she was bringing up
in the midst of an unthinkable tragedy,
a bunch
and
of
was
other
leaning
stuff.
on the president for support during that time, and he was there to give
Danny.
it to her, as well as the vice president and many other top-ranking cabinet officials. Kayla.
Thanks, Caroline. On TikTok,
You want to sell it to Fox
How much
News.
is the deal? And if you can't give an exact number to how much the deal is, when can we expect to learn how much the deal is being valued at? And then separately, who are the members involved in the deal? Like, can you share any more details there?
So I don't have a specific number for you, nor am I going to confirm the specific individuals and entities in the deal, Kayla, but I do have several details I'm happy to run through for all of you, and the president will be signing the deal, the official deal, later this week at some point. Under the terms of this deal, TikTok will be owned by a majority of American investors and controlled by a board of directors with extensive national security and cybersecurity credentials. In partnership with the U.S.
TikTok's gonna
government,
be
Oracle
fucked,
will
by the
serve
way.
as TikTok's trusted security provider, and they will independently
Shit's
monitor
gonna
the
be
safety and data security of all U.S.
gone.
user data on TikTok's platform. Americans' data
They
will
already
be stored
have, like, all the data.
securely in the United States without access from China. All U.S. user data will be stored on servers operated by Oracle in the United States, protected from surveillance or interference by foreign adversaries. And the algorithm, I know this is a question.
Protected? What do you
many
mean protected? We're all constantly selling all of our information to everybody. Our information might as well be fucking public at this point. It gets sold to someone who then just sells it to everyone.
you have had will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control. And TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa. While I don't have a number on the specific deal, we do expect that thanks
So
to the
then do I
president's
just use
leadership
a VPN?
and the securement of this historic deal,
I don't
businesses
understand.
using TikTok will generate as much as $178 billion in economic activity within the U.S. over the next 4 years. So this is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app. But it's also great news for all of the small business owners who have really been able to make a living off of the use of TikTok as well.
And if I could just get one more as it relates to China, on crop
So
prices
fuck
with
TikTok,
farmers,
Albania.
as
Pro
there's
TikTok
still no
here.
official trade deal with China,
Banned.
farmers are getting a
There you
little
go.
bit antsy navigating, prices being weak and not strong. How is the administration, thinking about farmers right now? Is there anything we can expect to see from the administration on, sort of bailing farmers out should prices continue to not work in their favor?
Well, the administration is completely understands the anxiety of farmers. We're very much aware of this issue. It has been a part of our discussions.
Y'all did the thing.
The trade team's
Y'all are
discussions
the
with their
reason the
Chinese
farmers are
counterparts.
scared.
As for any specific actions, I don't have any news on that for you today, but I can fully assure you the entire
A
National
leftist lounge,
Economic
think of it,
Council
Paul.
in this building, as well as our Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, have been talking with the trade team about this. There's been many meetings on this, and they are on the ball, but I don't have anything specific for you today.
Of course
Sure,
you don't have
Selena.
anything
Thanks,
specific.
Caroline.
What a
The case
surprise.
against Letitia James
Honestly
was
surprised she hasn't had a
extensively
clip art thing yet.
investigated for 5 months, and President Trump's handpicked Attorney General Eric Siebert could not find any evidence that he committed a crime. So is the president saying here it doesn't matter if there's a crime, he just wants his political enemies to be charged?
Well, let me just walk you through
Yes.
Letitia James. Letitia
That is
James
what he's saying.
completely abused
Dear
her oath
Pam,
of office. Letitia James was
do whatever.
actively and openly
Put them in
engaged
prison.
lawfare. You
I'm
talk about
angry.
weaponizing the Department of Justice. What was Letitia James's campaign slogan? It was prosecute Donald Trump. She was saying she was going to prosecute Donald Trump before she even knew if Donald Trump committed a crime, which of course we did not. Those are not the words of a serious prosecutor. Those are the words
Donald
of a
Trump has
corrupt
committed like all of the
politician who was
crimes.
abusing their power.
What do you mean?
She actively campaigned on that. She also led the witch hunt, the financial fraud investigation against President Trump and the Trump
Yes,
organization.
and
an
investigating
appeals
him,
court
of course.
tossed that case out, a $500 million civil fraud penalty in August, which was another win for the president, and exonerated him of this witch hunt and showed that this is an individual who is corrupt and abused her oath of office. And we also have evidence of her mortgage fraud. An April report from a white-collar fraud investigator found that there was documented evidence that James engaged in a consistent pattern of financial and property disclosures that raise serious legal questions.
But why won't the president accept the conclusions of his Justice Department to not bring charges against Letitia James? In fact, you had Bondi and Blanche top DOJ leadership who were against ousting Eric Siebert, who again was picked by President Trump.
I just answered that question for you, and the president has every right to express how he feels about these people who literally campaigned on trying to put him in jail, who literally tried to ruin his life and ruin his businesses, and he wants to see accountability for those who abuse their office and abuse their power. And
They
Letitia
literally
James
want to
absolutely
do
did
things that
whether you
Donald
want
Trump
to
doesn't
admit
want
it or
them
not.
to.
Not retribution, though?
Jeff, it's accountability.
Thanks, Caroline.
We call it something different than retribution in this admin. We call it something slightly different.
Of the latest, for the most recent treaty limiting nuclear weapons. Does the White House have a reaction to that? Does the president want to accept that offer? And then one separate issue, just generally, what is the president's response or reaction to the number of countries this week who are planning to or have recognized a Palestinian state?
Two great questions, Jeff. To your first question about Russia, the president is aware of this offer extended by President Putin, and I'll let him comment on it later. I think it sounds pretty good, but he wants to make some comments on that himself, and I will let him do that. As for all of these Western nations that are recognizing a Palestinian state, the president has been very clear. He disagrees with this decision. He spoke about that in the UK, standing right next to his friend, Prime Minister Starmer, and he feels this does not do anything to release the hostages, which is the primary goal right now in Gaza, does nothing to end this conflict and bring this war to a close. And frankly, he believes it's a reward to Hamas. So he believes these decisions are just more talk and not enough action from some of our friends and allies. And I think you'll hear him talk about that tomorrow at the UN. Kristen.
Thanks, Caroline. Just going back to this Letitia James story. What does President Trump plan to do if the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, tells him that there is not enough evidence to bring his political opponents' cases or to charge those cases?
That's a hypothetical question, Kristen. That hasn't happened at this point.
But we did see one U.S. attorney not be able to find enough evidence, and now they no longer have a job. Is that something that you would consider?
Look, the president stands with Pam Bondi 100%. He made that clear this weekend. He answered questions from all of you last night on Air Force One.
No one ever does anything wrong.
That's how he feels at this moment in time.
No one does anything wrong. They couldn't do something wrong. Because Donald Trump wants them to. And if he doesn't, then they still didn't do anything wrong.
Does return kidnapped Ukrainian children? And secondly, we just found out through questioning that Hunter Biden sat in on the discussions of his pardons. What's the White House response to that?
Unfortunately, I think it's unsurprising. And it's also very telling that one of the only pardons Joe Biden signed on his way out the door was the pardon of his son. Everything else was signed with an auto pen, but that one was clearly his own signature. To your first question about Russia, I have no news to share with you on that. Sure, in the yellow.
The auto pen.
According to media reports,
The auto pen.
Maduro has sent a letter to President Trump, but President Trump avoided saying whether he has read it. Did he receive it?
We have seen this letter.
What? Letter?
Frankly,
There's a letter
I think there
from
were
Maduro?
a lot of lies that were repeated by Maduro in that letter.
Man.
And the administration's position on Venezuela has not changed. We view the Maduro regime as illegitimate, and the president has clearly shown that he's willing to use any and all means necessary to stop the illegal trafficking of deadly drugs from the Venezuelan regime into the United States of America.
Context of the letter?
Gilbertson, go ahead.
The admin.
You and then go ahead. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. Whitline with Borderhawk News. The admin has openly discussed taking legal action against officials in sanctuary jurisdictions. Just this last weekend, we saw Mayor of Evanston, Daniel Bliss, rioting and protesting outside of an ICE facility near Chicago. Are there plans to start arresting sanctuary mayors or governors going forwards?
Unless they commit a crime, I don't see them being arrested. But if they are violating federal law, if they are violating state law, then of course they should be arrested by state and local law enforcement. If they're violating federal law, then they can expect the consequences of that behavior. Nick.
Thank you, Caroline. Would the president like to see Congress pass a national holiday honoring Charlie Kirk annually?
That's an interesting question. I'm sure he wouldn't oppose such a thing. But you can pose that to him yourself next time you get the chance.
Sure thing. And to follow up too, I know the president is honoring Charlie with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Is there anything else that we don't know of in the works to honor Charlie?
Not at this time, but we do look forward to that Medal of Freedom ceremony very soon.
We're going to make a giant statue 600 feet tall.
This past Friday, Adam Schiff, Tim Kaine, they introduced a resolution on Capitol Hill aimed at stopping the successful kinetic strikes against narco-terrorists in the Caribbean Sea. What does a move like this, what type of message does it send to families, specifically families who have suffered at the hands of deadly narco drugs like these?
I definitely think it sends the wrong message. We wish that Democrats would get on board with.
We wish
very
that Democrats
simple
would be willing
idea
to
of
let us
ending drug
blow
trafficking
people up.
and securing our
Just
homeland.
random people on
and
boats.
I saw a report this morning that the Dominican Republic actually helped us seize a boat that was on its way from Venezuela to the United States of America with lots of deadly drugs on board. And so if you actually
Lots
hear from
of deadly
Caribbean
drugs on board.
nations
What
in the region,
specifically?
they are
If you
thankful and grateful for
if
the
you
administration's
had gotten
efforts,
a
and
boat
they're
with a bunch of drugs on board, wouldn't they have like exact numbers for like the things, and wouldn't they want to show that off? If they had, would we not have a bunch of fucking
alongside us
photos?
to end this plague of drug trafficking through their seas. Sure, Karen.
Over the weekend, Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries sent a letter to the White House asking for a meeting.
Yo, that guy's got some wild eyebrows. That dude in like the center middle left looks like Mr. Bean.
The president to talk about government funding. Has the White House responded to that letter, and will the president sit down with them to talk about this, given that deadline is now 8 days away?
Discussions are ongoing with both Republican and Democratic members of Capitol Hill. I don't have any meetings or any scheduling updates for you today, but what I will share is that what this White House wants and what Republicans want, we want a clean funding extension to keep the government open. That's all we're advocating for, a simple, clean budget extension, a straightforward, responsible solution to keep the government open to November 21st and allow the full year appropriations process to move forward. And I will add, this is the same budget that the Democrats approved 6 months ago, just adjusted for inflation. And unfortunately, all of a sudden now, they want to shut down the government. And if the government is shut down, it's only going to, it will be the fault of the Democrats, and it will only hurt the most vulnerable in our country, our seniors, our veterans, our military
If the
families.
Democrats like fold under pressure with one of these things again, it's going to be really frustrating when they're just like,
You know what? Yeah, they keep saying that we're the problem, so we'll just stop.
Increasing security for members of
stop.
Congress, which is something this White House and the administration supports. And if you look back at the statements made by Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in the past, they too have advocated against a shutdown and for keeping the government open. Democrat Chuck Schumer himself said a
Don't
shutdown
bring up
would mean
Chuck
chaos
Schumer.
and
That guy,
pain
we don't like
and
that
needless
guy.
heartache for the American people.
We don't
He
like
said
that
once,
guy.
Avoiding a shutdown is very good news for the country, for our veterans,
Chuck
for
Schumer
parents
is
and children,
a
for farmers
piece of
and for
shit.
small businesses. Hakeem Jeffries also said it's about the harm.
We
Families
also
will
don't-
be hurt
he's a
if there is a government
Zionist.
shutdown. Farmers will be hurt. Holiday travel will be impacted. Democrats clearly know what the right thing to do is here. It's to join with Republicans to pass this clean funding extension. That's what the White House and the president wants. And with that, we will see you all at 4 o'clock for this big announcement later on. Thanks, guys.
all right, so not the holiday travel. All right, so that's where we're gonna end it for tonight. That's where we're gonna end it. I'm gonna go. Where is it? Boop boop. Full cam. Hello. There we go. All right, everybody. Good night, everybody. And one last cheers to ya. One last cheers for the road. Leftist. Good night. Unbridled Stoner Chick trademark musical Amy. Ray, Danny. Vicious. Stoner Chick Burbles. Good night. I'm gonna watch Matt yell at people. Enjoy that. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Usual time for TikTok. Unless some live thing comes up, but I'll probably be sleeping anyway, so. Then we'll hear again tomorrow. Good night, Dragons. Good night, Corey.
Hey, buddy, want a treat?
See if he comes in before I end. Oubliette, good night. Maybe we'll all get raptured tonight. Maybe we'll get raptured, right? Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.